participation in the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Tyson.
Mr. God, our Father, we thank you today for your loving kindness, your tender mercy. Thank you that you're God, and without you there is no other. We ask you to lead us and guide us tonight. Give us wisdom and understanding. Lord, we ask you to look on our community, look on the people. Look on those who don't have any insurance, bury their families, members today. Touch them and give them away tonight in the name of Jesus. God, we look to you for strength, peace, and harmony. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I yield to the city clerk.
Commissioner Adams,
Present.
Commissioner Clark Griffin. Present. Commissioner Edwards, Commissioner Henderson. Present. Commissioner Henry,
Present.
Commissioner Isom,
Present.
Commissioner Singleton,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Present.
Mayor Mohammed.
Present.
You have a quorum.
Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes. Regular minutes, October 3, 2022. Motion is made by Commissioner Adams, supported by Commissioner Henderson. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Edwards, Commissioner Henderson. Yes. Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yeah.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Brings us to approval of accounts payable listings. Is there a motion for the approval? Motion made by Commissioner Adams and supported by Commissioner Henderson. Is there discussion? Chair recognizes Commissioner Henderson.
These are two items, and I think Mr. Williams noted it, items 9580 and 9580. So,
Yeah,
just noting those two items.
yeah, it was a question of the payables to St. Joe's for sanitation. And it says here that the sanitation charges were for properties connected to Grand Avenue and St. Joe's sewer system. And it also says here that the charges for the sewer treatment charge to the city of Benton Harbor in connection with the use of the city sewer lines at Grand Avenue.
What was the amount?
Point of order. What was that said amount, Mr. Williams?
It was for $1,202.01.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
Thank you. In regards to the same thing that's, well, I'm not sure if that was from past minute meetings, but another Grand Avenue customers for sanitation for 2025. I guess I'm trying to find out why, and if in fact it's separate from the trash, or is it solely just sewer? And actually, why is it even separated if it's Benton Harbor property?
So for instance, in the M63 building at one time was a customer of the city of Benton Harbor. When the contract was severed, the state law is that the business or corporation or resident, they hook up to the closest tap or the closest line. So Alrico property, Kojic Village, so in this particular case, they must be connected to the St. Joe sewer
Okay.
system.
I understand that connection now, but that very thing caused us to lose or not have access to a business that we have started and allowed that created jobs on Alrico property, which is City of Benton Harbor's property. And at the same time, the same with sewer, which I noticed that bill has gone up a couple of thousand as well, and I'd like to know why. I'd also like to know, during the public safety meeting last Wednesday, it was stated that the grass cutting season is over, and looking at our accounts payable, it's almost $40,000. And I have nothing against entrepreneurs that we should be supporting, but do we expect to see another cost on next month's, or was that it? Also, I'd like to know, construction codes boiler emergency loan, state of Michigan, refresh my memory, for $150,260. $260. There was no number, but it was from 2013 to 2014. There was no number attached to it for me to give it to you. Also, I requested a sheet for the elected officials to know what our fleet looks like in the form of the vehicles that we are in agreement with Enterprise. I would still like that inventory list, please. Also, yet to receive, even though we sit here and approve the funding for the lead lines, you, Honorable Mayor, had requested where payments are, and along with some other things, so that we know where we are, and that's been, 2 weeks now, and we have not received anything. That would really be a wonderful thing if we could see exactly where we are, with some people already having lead lines prior to this work, as well as, I'll just leave that. But one more thing, and I heard a commissioner make a statement about it at the public safety meeting, payment request for the farmer's market. And we were awarded
Commissioner, I don't
by,
wanna-
wait a minute, farmer's market.
Please keep it
I am.
relative to the account.
It is accounts payable because we're about to release,
Tonight.
we are about to release $40-something thousand
But it's not
dollars.
on the agenda tonight.
It is a payment for the farmer's market. So may I continue, please?
What number are you talking about?
I don't know what number it was. It evidently didn't have one attached to it, because I could have wrote it down.
What page is it?
You didn't run across it?
I did not.
It's $45,450. And what we're looking at our park out over here, is not what we gave approval for. A contract is a contract. And we had already initiated what we were going to spend on that project prior to the 90-something thousand more that one of our terrific senators set forth. Again, I'll say a contract is a contract, and I expected to see exactly what we had given approval for, and that's not what I'm looking at our farmer's market. There was $6,000 for a tree removal on Bishop. Was that one tree for $6,000? I'm glad that the residents have invested in its own chipper. But was that one tree? Thank you.
So that is page 6, Commissioner, I stand corrected, that's $45,450 for the road construction farmers market pavilion phase 2.
Well, we had already established that it was going to be 2 phases, but they were supposed to be connected and would look like one long, what we approved. That was the contract.
Are
And
there any
I'd
other,
like to know where we are with the funding, as well as what we put towards the market and the 90-something thousand more that our senator put forth towards the farmers market.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Nothing too drastic, but I do want to ask a question. Are we paying for a cell phone device for Admin Marsh? Because that keeps showing up every month. It says mobile device leasing. I don't know what kind of device it is. We're paying for $250. Then also, just real quickly, I'm not collecting the time, but we have different, I thought we did have a janitor. It looked like we're paying somebody to clean the building. We're not a janitor no more. That's good. All right, so we don't have a janitor no more. That's good to know. Then we do have, I know they use it a lot, but, well, I'll let that be, and we'll figure it out another time. But there's a lot that we are paying for. That Ring Central thing is not really something that's working. When you press a button, you should be able to get somebody. If I press 1, I shouldn't get 5, and 5, I shouldn't get 1. I know we thought we were saving money with that Ring Central, but Ring Central is a challenge and pretty much a joke that we've been spending money on. I would just ask that moving forward, this body, that if we can figure out something to do with that, because to keep paying them $60,000-$70,000 a year for what we're getting from them is unfortunate. You pick up the phone, can't dial out. I see staff shaking their head. You can't dial out half the time when you try to use it. We're still paying the same amount every single month. And somebody said that it was going to be a lifesaver or savings, but we're actually just throwing money into the wishing well with that entity. I would have asked this body that we do look into doing away, because then we still have other bills that we're paying for technology. And it looks like every month we're spending close to about $30,000, or I'm not going to say that high, but $25,000 more in just technology. I think we can consolidate that a little bit better for the amount of manpower that we have and the amount of people, and we'll be able to do a better job with that. But I do want that Ring Central thing to be done away with, because you cannot get anybody when you call City Hall. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Seats. Chair recognizes Commissioner Clark Griffin.
Okay, on page 3, I see, dirt cheap lawn care. We paid them $6,440. Now, if I recall right, 2 weeks ago, then we paid them $9,000 or $8,000. And we have all these lawn service, but then the city manager said it was also a cleanup. Where are these areas getting cleaned? Because I see a lot of dumping, and I see a lot of stuff with, it say clean up then, it say clean up here. What, looks like, what's, can we get a list where are they cleaning? Because I still see a mess.
Chair recognizes the Finance Director.
Thank you, Mayor. The dirt sheet payable for this week is for alley cleanup, approximately 5 loads. Well, not approximately 5 loads, but exactly 5 loads. Abatement cleanup and city mowing.
Okay. What alleys, what more is also city mowing? We got, what, about 3 or 4 mowing services already for the city? And it wasn't dirt cheap, what we paid.
So now the specific areas that it was taken care of,
Mhm.
I believe the city manager can attest to that. Because I'm not sure about the specifics, just the financials.
Right, city manager through the chair.
Mr. Manager.
I'll have to get that to tell you exactly where those are being.
You know what, this not working for me. I think we're gonna have to do something where we're agreeing to pay these things, but we don't even have all the information. It's gotta be a better system where we can find out what is done ahead of time. I know it's a lot of transactions through the city, but for approving it after it's already been done, and then we still can't get answers, we gotta wait on another answer if we ever get it. It's not working for me. I don't think it's working for the citizens either, or my colleagues. That's one of my questions. My other one is Rudon, page 2, electrical repair security lighting, and that was on River Park. We were paying $1,737.84 for repaired security lighting, River Park. We repaired the lighting for almost $2,000 security, okay? Also, Rudon Electrical, Main Street lighting repair, we paying $6,235 for repair of the lighting. Do I have wait on that, or through the chair, city manager, can you answer that?
Mr. Leonard.
On that one, I have no idea.
Oh, wow, so who made this transaction? City manager don't know, the assistant?
Which one was that again?
Well, it's actually two of them.
Go down the electrical.
What was the amount?
One was $6,235, that's for Main Street lighting repair. The other was $1,737.84 for electrical repair security lighting at River Park.
Okay, I know Bedford Electric is the firm that the city uses to deal with its lighting. Some of the light posts out here owned by I&M, some are owned by the city. And on the cities, whenever there's a problem, they call Bedford Electric to take care
Okay, the city called, we call them,
Yes.
so who in the city called?
Public Works.
Because
Public
Okay.
Works.
Public Works.
Public Works,
Yes.
okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, also looking here, I found what she was talking about. It says right here, lift stations, for lift station repairs. And they're all of them, I got to speak up. They're lift station repairs.
That's
And
his
it's
street.
1,
that's
2,
his street
3,
lighting.
4, 5.
Those
Five
all
of,
say-
five of them are lift station repairs. One is a security light at River Park, and the other is lights on Main Street.
The two I asked about is not light station, it's not the lift station.
Right, the
It
two
does
that
not say.
two that you asked about, one is a repair for security lighting at River Park, and the other is a lighting on Main Street.
You know that, I made that clear, but that's a lot of money and why, what, repair, $6,000 something dollars, we repair my lighting?
What is it?
So,
Uh,
I'm just gonna end it so we can move on, but not acceptable to me.
Well, Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
there's nothing that's gonna be on here that hasn't been vetted. And to say that that's not acceptable, I don't know what is acceptable then.
It's not, we can move on. Thank you, Chair.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Edwards.
I don't know if it helps any bit, but the one for the River Park that they're talking about, Yarborough Park,
No, that's next to it, River Park, by the bank.
well, I do know, remembering asking for repair or reporting that one of the lights were actually off the pole. It was damaged by the storm, tree limb fell on it and knocked it all the way off the pole. So, them saying River Park, I told you, they were talking about Yarborough.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Henry.
Thank you, Chair. Some time ago, when they came in and worked on Main Street, they convinced us to get these light posts that are very expensive to repair. And since I've been sitting here, it's probably been 4 to 5 light posts been damaged by some driver that we never found. So I'm assuming that Main Street lighting had some damage and it was done. But my question is, how many lights were repaired for $6,000? And then on River Park, if I could go to my memory, Whirlpool has an agreement with us to maintain River Park. Fisherman.
Fisher.
And the security lighting is part of being maintained. So I'm not sure how this one charge comes up, but I'd like to have it broken down where we'll know how many lights were repaired and then do our research as to who's really responsible for River Park. That's just to straighten out that information about the lights. I've asked a couple of questions about this travelers insurance thing, and I'm not gotten the answer. I'm gonna try it again as an email with a date on it. Travelers insurance has got a couple of things here that I've been asking questions on, and I haven't gotten the answer. So I will be giving it to the city manager, and next meeting we will be talking about it out in public, hopefully. So I also would like to know if there is a contract ending date for an enterprise contract. We've been leasing cars from them for a while now, and so I really need to know when that contract is deadline. Someone asked about page 2 and Bodman PLC, and I need a lot more information as to what these are. Just a lot more information on what these charges are and why they're there.
Madam Clerk. Did you email this on Friday? Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem C.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, through the chair, my gracious mayor. It's time for us to speak. There is a Fifth Third Bank credit card. That one thing it says is purchases. There's no itemization, it's not itemized, not any, it's on page 3 at the bottom, 3 from the bottom. It just says purchases. They don't give who purchased, who got the card, or where the card came from. I won't divulge the public. But is there any way we can find out what the charges are, who made the charges? Then on the piggyback of that, because we just asked about the lease vehicles or fleet of the vehicles that we have, which you've done through the chair, such an eloquent job our finance director has done in providing that information. If we find out who all has gas cards through the chair, if we can find out who all have fuel cards and the amount of fuel that's being charged on these fuel cards, I would love to know, because it is part of the expense. A lot of different things, and we just gave us allowance for gas, and probably that allowance for gas is less than some probably use it for the gas card anyway. So maybe it'd be better if we just give you a gas card, but if we can get that out of there and do credit card purchases, that's very vague. It's a Fifth Third Bank card. It doesn't give who uses it, where it comes from, or anything. Honorable Mayor, and I know for a point of clarity, I can say, and I would ask the mayor to just answer this if he could. None of the city council have a credit card. Or the mayor have a credit card. We don't have cards. I don't want nobody leaving there saying that the city officials have credit cards.
Right.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor.
I'd like to appeal to the Finance Chair. These questions that are being asked tonight are being reported. A follow-up could be done at your committee, and that way we don't have to take up so much time on Monday. Perhaps maybe I would also suggest that individual commissioners should meet with the city manager by appointment or open door policy to find out. Because a lot of this is just operating costs for the city and part of the management of the city. So certain things on this 3-4 page document, given that it falls under day-to-day affairs, we're not going to know. We're just not going to know. So if we want to dig deep into it, then I would recommend that we meet with the city manager so he can give us a thorough and comprehensive explanation of each itemized expenditure.
We have a process also, Mr. Mayor. After the commissioners get their packages, they get their request into us, therefore noon on Monday, we'll have answers.
Thank you.
We don't get the answer.
Chair
That's why we're
recognizes
here asking.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor.
Commissioner Adams.
Look, these are unpaid positions. I appreciate the little gas money, but I expect for government to work for me, which is why my people sent me down here. I have a life too. Though we receive these on a Friday, just like we are expected to go over them, city manager should be able to do the same and be able to answer our questions.
Point of order.
And to be able to answer some of the questions asked specifically about our finances.
Thank you.
Or I'm going to grant our finance director, newly as he is, an opportunity to catch up since we are now falling under auditing season. But thank God we finally have one that seems to be doing us some justice thus far. But I expect for head of all departments to know some of the things that we just keep getting the same answer about getting back to us and never does. That don't work for me. And all of the unanswered emails, that don't work for me.
Call for the question.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
No.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yeah.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
No.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
This brings us to the public participation. Call citizens' comments. Do not have to be a citizen of the city of Lincoln Harbor. Public participation is open to whomever would like to speak. Please sign with the city clerk. She will call you as you have signed the participation sheet. I yield to the city clerk.
Lee Reed.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'd like to give you a quick update on the master planning process. The ward workshops will start this Wednesday, October the 19th. First session will be at Second Baptist at 400 Don Atkins. From 6 to 7:30, Commissioners Henry and Seats will be the host. Thursday, October the 20th, Thursday, the second neighborhood meeting will be at the Virginia Edwards Community Center, 721 Nate Wells. Your host will be Commissioner Clark Griffin and Commissioner Adams. And then for next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, October the 26th and 27th, we'll be at the Boys and Girls Club, 190 West Empire. That'll be Henderson and Isom. And that Wednesday at the public library will be Edwards and Singleton. Also, I'd like to remind you that the redevelopment ready community certification training should be completed by the end of the month, for those of you who are signed up for that. Hate to throw logs on a fire, but I was out on Valley Drive the other day. The dumping is so bad you can't drive down the drive any longer. Need to do something about that. Thank you.
Ira Ward Jr.
I'm here to complain about, I stay at 1198 Jennings. And as she said, your insurance, travel insurance, second time, the sewer backed up. Everything in my basement is lost. This is the second time. And your traveler's insurance says, the city said it's our fault and not the city's, because we got everybody else's feces in our basement, which I've cleaned up now because I didn't get any help. Because people putting wipes in their toilet. That has nothing to do with me. I filed my complaint with your insurance, and this is the second time that I lost everything in my basement that your insurance says my fault and not the city's. Well, somebody's not cleaning the sewers. Because if they were doing their job, I wouldn't have had everybody feces in my basement. Everything in the basement was lost. I sent your insurance, traveler's insurance, which is a waste of y'all money, pictures of everything. So I'm here now to voice my opinion and my complaints to you guys and see what can happen.
Sir, please leave your number, city clerk, address.
Spencer Nesbitt.
Good evening. I just came in to say that I did see some things happening in the city. I saw the new chipper going up and down the street. I can't say I saw anybody using it yet, but I know it's in town. And they were pulling it a couple times by the truck past my house. My wife, she came in and made sure that I saw that. I was downstairs in my room, and she came down and told me, "So you need to get up and see what's going on." I did see it, so I want to say congratulations to that portion of it, but I still haven't saw the sweeper yet. Now, let's get ready to snow. We're supposed to have snow flurries tonight, maybe 1 to 2 inches. I don't see nothing out there working, and even with the chipper that we do have, there are large, extra large limbs on the street that is not going to pick up. So we're going to destroy a brand new, I don't know what the cost of it was, I'm going to say $1,000 of equipment, trying to do something that it's not capable of doing. So I still rely on saying, public work is not doing what they're supposed to do. Now, we can sit here and say, they're doing a great job. What? I know there might be a plan. Sometimes plans and things, you have to back up on some of your plans. So something happened and you can't track everything. Now, sitting here listening to some of the other things, I have to agree with Commissioner Griffin. You know, we talk about doing things, but nobody have a tracking method of saying this has been done, when it was done. I approve that. Nothing. So we're not tracking anything. We're just spending money doing nothing. And we can't say, I gave $1 to her, but why did you give her that $1? So we need to do a better job as city commissioners, city officials, trying to make sure that our tax dollars are being used wisely. And I agree with what the gentleman just said about the basement. You know, you have drains still plugged up with leaves, cardboard parts, car parts and things sitting right on top of the drain. Come down Cross and Colfax. I think Commissioner Seats can see that. I showed him that. They're there, and nothing's gonna be picked up like that. So please, let's get up and do a better job on our city. Thank you.
Marvin Haywood.
You know, this one I knew was a facade. A long time ago, they promised us a public works bill when they put that together. and we never got the Public Works building. Everything has been an illusion of inclusion. We have bought into the ideology that their agenda is what we're gonna serve. It's been a lot of people that have came, that I know have came and sent emails in regards to getting that other part of that money so they could help the citizens of Benton Harbor. And they said they never got back with them. So what it is now, we have to ask ourselves, who is it that we serving? You know, we just got to keep it real. You know, they say facts. The facts is this. I came in here 2 years ago and say, show me what it is that we have done to help move this inner city forward. Nothing. It's the game. Miss Ashley Hines been back here with a program and an organization, can't get no money, can't get no funding, and came back to try to help reinvigorate the inner city community. And it's like everybody that come back that want to help our city, they be pushed aside. But them Europeans can come in and get all the money. Facts. I mean, these are just the facts. And what I'm saying is, how long is it that we want to keep playing the game? You know, we might as well just give them the damn building. I mean, because that's what it looked like it's coming down to. Because a long time ago when you came, you had a plan, but you ain't talking no more about the plan. That's the only reason I support you, because you had a plan. But I ain't seen no plan laid out, nothing happening. You know, one thing for sure, I got a lot of common sense and I see this for what it is. You know, everybody can just see it for what it is. You know, it's time to just quit playing games, quit charading. We got to quit going around the bush doing nothing. You know, just like she said, they get the packages on Friday. Who gonna actually take a package that on a Friday and look at it and be ready for Monday? Duh. We've been doing this for years. We've been doing the same thing for years. Going around just playing games. You know what I'm saying? Even when it comes to the lawyer, I don't agree with you because I don't think you got the best interest of the city at heart. How could you have the best interest of this community? I'm keeping it real. No, sir. We're going to have to keep. This is what's been going on. We've been letting people come down. How is it that we got individuals, a Black-owned community, but every position is not controlled by individuals who are highly qualified, who look like us? So we have to just keep it real. And this has been the situation. We have an agenda that's being carried out that's not our agenda. And if y'all try to get an armory to Whirlpool, to the Boys and Girls Club, that's a non-starter. How could you be making these backroom deals to get an army to the Boys and Girls Club? That we know is an arm of Whirlpool, and if they took that building, they would make that building a private entity. That building would become a private building. So how could you do that? You know, all this backroom shit that's going on, people calling me every day about it. How could they do this?
Hey, with your time is up.
Yep, it's just getting monotonous. So we have to choose who we gonna serve this day, because y'all ain't serving the people. It is real, and it's just getting monotonous. Everybody coming out here complaining and shit.
Sherry Mesa.
Good evening, board. Good to see everybody. I just hate that I had to come here and complain to you guys. Okay, this is why. And I see that I'm not the only one, because I saw Commissioner Henry, where's Henry? mention not getting an answer to her email. I heard Commissioner Adams that expects management to work for her in unanswered emails. That's part of my complaint today. I'm a lifelong resident of Benton Harbor. That's why I recognize a lot of faces. Good to see you. Born and raised my kids here, all of that. That's why I got the tiger. Yeah. But let's see, starting in 2021, I've talked with more than several city departments here, you know, in our area, in our community. And most recently was TCATA. And that's my issue here today, is my daughter had a grant application that she used to work for TCATA. So they've got this grant where she can get some of her loans forgiven. So she sent it to the office. Several weeks went by. Matter of fact, we still haven't gotten that filled out properly. She lives in Indianapolis right now. And I said, you know what, let me go down there. I'm local, let me go down and maybe I could help. Well, I regret going down there because gave her the paperwork. She told me they had a meeting that night. I called the next day. Long story short, I said, well, can I leave a message for the director? And she said, have a good day, and hung up. We were recently told that, you know, you guys, the board doesn't deal with personnel. Even the TCAT board doesn't deal with personnel issues. But my concern goes to, if this is your community and you work in public service, serve the people. You know, serve the people. You know, she turned in her paperwork early. It wasn't due till the end of this month, but she turned it in back in August. And she's trying to figure out another way to get her paperwork, her grant submitted, paperwork submitted for her grant. So thank you for listening. Thank you, ma'am.
Emma Hall.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Emma Hall. I live at 815 East High Street. I have not been down here in some times, but I do want to congratulate all the new commissioners and those who ran for office that made it. I want to congratulate you. And I do agree with what the audience is saying. There are some things that have gone by the wayside. But I look at it and say, you can only do so much. I promised my children some shoes and a car, but my furnace broke. So I had to buy a furnace. So the car had to go by the wayside. So there are things that they promised that might need to be done, but you cannot do it all in a day. Rome was not built in a day. I've seen so many great things that has happened in this city with this commission right here. And I know we do complain, but there are some nice things that have been happening. We see Miss Adams, she comes, she doesn't miss a meeting, she complains, and we agree that she complains all the time, 24 hours a day she complains. But we could only do so much. Miss Clark Griffith, she comes down, she's working in the community. Miss Henry's working hard, and you know Edwards, he be at everything. He's got too many meetings to be at. And my niece Henderson, they work. People are working, but we can't see it, and it takes time. Money has gone through. Money's earmarked. When money comes in, it's only earmarked for certain things. We cannot, and y'all do have, y'all have some complaints. I agree, I have some complaints. My complaints, I was so complained, I called the city manager, I said, don't come out there. I said, who would buy some orange trash cans? And I said, I don't like them. I do not like these orange trash cans. I called the mayor, told him I don't like them. Well, I had a complaint, but we still number one. Me and him and all the rest of them, we number one. Some things I don't like. Some things they haven't done. We cannot do it all. Our pockets are not that full. But I think, based upon what you have done and what the time we've been here, I see so many nice things have happened. And I'm so proud to be living in this city and to be looking and working to try to help us make a difference for our city. I can complain all day long, but we have to work together. Divided, we fall. Together, we're going to stand. And thank you so much. Was that down for me? Yeah. Oh, okay, I'll sit down. Thank you. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate the work you're doing because you're not getting paid. And you should vote yourself some money. You should vote, because it takes money. They work, they got jobs, they got kids to go see too, they got things to do out in here. They need a few dollars. You need to vote your little compensation, what is that word? Yeah, maybe you can do a little better. That's what I would do. Don't bring me back. I am for the tea.
Emma Clark.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Well, I'm the next Emma that's here, and I think we have a different conversation.
Yes, but we agree.
Yes, but I do understand
Yeah.
that they are following the process. as Mr. Isom said. And I've often asked him, what is the process? I haven't gotten a chance to know. But I'd like to know, when we go into other communities and we see the streets being fixed and we got a city income tax and the streets being fixed, this was the perfect time while they're redoing the lead lines to fix their streets with that money. The money should have accumulated where they could have did something significant because there's a work being done to the street level. And so we want to have an appointed time that you give us a traction as to how's that money been spent over a period of time. We had trees that needed to come down, sidewalks, people can walk at night and stumble over and injure themselves seriously. Things that I've complained about, even the water issue that I complained about. But we're still making payments on the updating of the water plant. And I never did get an account of what is the balance of what we owe them, exactly how much did we pay them, and then why do we have other infractions in that building after having it updated? And are we back up to where we need to be with that building? And once they get that, why can't we now? I haven't had greens in a while because I'm not going to open up all them bottles and wash greens. So I haven't had anything like that for a good while because it's too much work in it. So I want to know, when will we be able to wash our vegetables, brush our teeth, but then we still get these same size bills and tell us, they're going to put it on your tax if you don't pay these bills. This is a travesty. Another thing that I see in this city hall had been cleaned up and updated and fixed up real nice. Under the city manager, he called and had that done when he first had it come in. Now, the whole thing is falling apart, the part for the emergency ramp. Yes, it's falling apart. Now, this looks a mess. You go over in the other parts of the other cities, surrounding cities, theirs looks nice and well put together, weeds growing up and everything. And you can't say it could be low maintenance, but low maintenance doesn't mean no maintenance. You're not going to live in your home and there's no maintenance. It's an upkeep anywhere you go. So we've got to look around. We go moving forward. And we follow the process. So what is the process? Give that to us. We cannot applaud you and say that you're doing a tremendous job, because I've seen other places that probably gets about the same amount and maybe a little less. But you see things moving forward and you can see that money is being accounted for.
Thank you.
I'm looking for get more accountability from you.
Through the chair.
So we got someone else running the meeting.
Mr. Duncan.
That's good.
3 minutes. That's all citizens get. I'm so tired of y'all too. I'm tired of anybody with about the citizens. Totally about the citizens, let me put it that way. Because we totally about that secret entity y'all was talking about earlier. I don't know what that name was, but I got a pretty good damn idea. And we do serve them. We lay with them, eat with them, drink with them, do all of this with them. But when it's time to do something for us, what do we do for us? We talked about 5G. What are we doing about 5G? I got a little understanding. I think the city clerk didn't think I had a good understanding of it. She thought I was talking about it in through the chair then. Through the chair. I'm going to come through you anyway. Just hold on. Because a lot of this is because of all of y'all. And especially the city manager. He's doing his job. What else is anybody doing? You cut me off. I'm disabled, but you cut me off anytime you want to during my 3 minutes. I still want my extra minute, because I know how you do citizens when they come to this spot. You took my thought pattern away, and I won't see it again until 2 weeks from now, you think. But I'll be here in 2 weeks. it's fun to you guys to do that to citizens. You do it all the time. And for this 1 minute and 10 seconds, I want you to know I damn sure don't appreciate it when you do it to me. I'm not a little kid. You can play that damn game if you want to. And I'm going to be who I am every time I'm coming in and ask you questions. Why don't you talk about 5G then, since it's hurting our people? Ain't none of y'all got something to say about it ever? "44 seconds. Mr. Mayor, I want to see citizens respected in this place. I mean, totally to the utmost, to the utmost of respect for citizens in this chambers from now on. You don't diss, and you can stop damn joking. That would take a lot of, hey, you messing with my 16 seconds.
No profanity.
Hey, well, I'll cuss you later then. If you guys don't want to do what you're supposed to do and keep sticking your finger in citizens' eyes, then the citizens see it, and you can hurry up and get this chamber wide where the citizens can really see your face when you're doing the shit you're doing.
Your time is up.
Yeah, your time is up for dissing citizens in the chambers.
No more comments.
This brings us to the consent calendar. Are there any items that should be separated?
Items should,
Chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
thank you. I'd like to suspend the council rules to add an item for a letter of intent to be sent to the federal government with the intent to apply for more ESSER funds, state revolving fund. I'd like to put a motion on the floor for that letter of intent to be sent to EPA so that we can be in the next round of funding next year, year after, so that we can deal with the issues like one of the gentlemen just spoke of about 1198 Jennings. There's billions of dollars that have been set aside
What's your
for
motion?
these type of
What is your
projects.
motion?
My motion is that we direct head of departments, city manager, to send that letter of intent for us to apply for those funds. We have until November the 1st, and I've only been asking via email for a month or more now. This is exactly why the residents' water rates just went up from a 2019 decision. Now, are we going to allow some of this possible free grant money to get away from the residents?
It's not free grant money.
And some of it is.
It's not.
Some of it is. Don't tell me.
Point of order, Mayor.
I have to.
I've been
No,
present
you
on
don't
all
have
calls.
to
have to tell
interrupt
the
anyone.
I have to tell the truth.
Point of
You
order,
don't
Mayor.
have the truth.
Point of order, Mayor. You are disrupting her. She has the floor and you keep doing it. It's very disrespectful.
I'm responsible as a chair of this meeting.
You're not responsible for bickering
The motion
with her.
is to direct the city manager to send that letter of intent to apply for 2023 state revolving funds.
I second that.
And items to be separated
You have
Would
to
be-
vote on the motion.
Motion first.
Motion is made by Commissioner Adams, supported by Commissioner Henry. Is there discussion?
Point of clarity.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem
Is
Smith.
this a vote to suspend the rules or is this a vote on the actual motion?
vote.
Well, the first one. would be to
Suspend the rules.
So, these particular funds it's a low interest loan.
Please.
And the only way that the city, as in 2019, when we applied at that time, the federal government, the state government wants to see some type of collateral.
Are we
Or, no, I'm.
voting on?
It's discussion.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought we had
They
to
want, it's
approve before we
discussion, it's
discussed.
discussion.
Okay.
Before.
Okay,
So in order to pay back the low interest loan, the federal government, as they did in 2019, wants to see how are you gonna pay it back? And that's where the raising of the water rates came in. Otherwise, we wouldn't even have qualified to even apply for the loan or for the funding. Some of it was forgiven, but it was a prerequisite that there had to be something to show the government, federal government, that we would be able to pay it back, and raising rates was a part of that. Yes, we did the water tower. That was a part of it. Yes, we totally did Highland. Yes, we totally did Territorial. Yes, we did Nolan, where the bus fell into the sinkhole. Yes, we did Pipestone. Yes, we did Cedar. Yes, we did a lot of the side streets over here. Yes, we changed out over 170 lead lines in the process. But we had to raise the rates in order to do it. And to apply for it again and ask the residents again to raise the rates, we can't do that. Not at this time.
okay, may I?
Yes.
Thank you. Because in spite of all that took to us to get to the point in 2019, knowing that the residents was going to incur a cost and rate hike per charter, the city charter, we, the elected officials, are the legislators that are supposed to set the rates. When the residents were even complaining then, and we neglected and ignored it. So, with all of those things needing to be done to this over 100-year-old infrastructure, this was just a small portion of what really needs to be done and to be continued. And in spite of you not being on the calls, Honorable Mayor, EPA has spoken on many occasions on the many calls that I and other communities have been on. And for the residents, if we miss the mark of some of this free money, some of it is forgivable grants, some of it is loans, some of it is bonds, is billions of dollars coming out into the American economy, knowing that America's infrastructure in a lot of places where there is a new development. Take a look at Riverview, for instance. All of that's new infrastructure. They won't have to worry about lead line pipes or anything else for over 100 years.
The city has been
Okay,
still
we
has over $20 million from the state government.
I'm aware of
to go
that, and so
toward
are they. You
our
don't
water
get it.
distribution
May I still have the
system,
floor, sir?
which is no
I still
longer.
have the floor.
Oh, man.
Point of order.
I still have the floor. They are very aware of our situation, okay? And I suggest you be on the call if you don't send this letter of intent that's due by November the 1st. There's a large mass meeting that EPA, along with other federal regulators and elected officials and a whole bunch of other people, November the 2nd, that is going to talk more about these funds. I sit on the MML committee for the state of Michigan, and we just recently, a couple of weeks ago, discussed a lot of large funding that's going into a vast amount of places, and you're going to be happy as a Brownfield Authority board member. Yeah, I'm making my business to be where I need to be. I've made and created a chair for my residents, for those that elected me to be a voice for them. And if, granted, some of you guys have jobs that you can't control your hours like I can. I'm there for my community as a whole, but you seem to have a problem listening because you know all the answers.
Commissioner, I'm in contact with the governor's office.
I'm not talking about the governor. I'm talking about funding straight from the federal government.
With the EPA.
And they get some, they get their own pot too.
And the money.
And then some of that's
The
ours.
SR5 money that money that you're
And
talking
some of it,
about,
that is
Y'all
ours.
getting on my nerves.
Some of that is ours coming from the state.
Yeah.
Be on the call so you can listen for yourself. Actually, there's a call before then.
do you have a letter?
I sent you emails. Don't play crazy. Don't talk to me like ain't been no conversations going on. Again, unanswered emails. Because if we don't do this now, in the next couple of years, when more sewer lines need to be fixed, that's when you, or probably not you, but somebody will have to bring forth, listening to Avonmarsh, that have served this community for what, over 40 years? Because I've been down there 22 and I couldn't figure out what they were doing then. Other than coming up with a way to take the poor and impoverished to put money into something that they knew that they wasn't going to be able to pay back. And then those that were connected have left and left you with a bag. But guess what? They're coming back for it. Yeah.
Sure
I'm gonna
recognize
tell you about some history of Bin Laden.
Commissioner Henderson. Chair recognizes Commissioner
Did you say Commissioner Henderson or Henry?
Henry.
Oh, you don't want to talk? He said Henderson, I heard him well. Oh, you said no, okay. Okay, well, I want to ask through the chair, through the city manager, what harm would it be if we gave a letter of intent for something that's possible happen next year?
Why was we even taken off the
What,
list?
That's the question to the city manager through the chair.
Right.
What's the harm?
I heard the reason why. There was an email that was sent to us about the reason why we were taken off. And it didn't register with my brain. So now I'm back to the main question. If we sent a letter of intent, what would that put us in jeopardy that we have to do something with the state? So I'm just trying to figure out why the pushback of this letter.
And why was I left off that email that I've been waiting for and requested it?
Out of order, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir. I'll wait your answer.
Mr. Manager, you must be tired.
Be in charge. Sick of it.
Mr. Henry,
Yes,
what's your question, please?
my question is, the letter of intent that we're speaking of, going to the EPA about something that might come available for us next year. What harm would it do if we submitted it? A letter of intent.
We are looking at all funding opportunities. We're looking at all funding opportunities, and we are looking at the letter of intent. We're looking at that whole process and making sure that it's beneficial to the city of Green Mountain. And we have until November 1st to do so.
It's our last meeting.
you have to November the 1st, that is the deadline.
Yes.
And through your research, is there any harm in submitting a letter in intent?
We'll let you know when we get our research finished. Because we have,
Will we have another meeting before
yes. we
that
will.
time?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Honorable Mayor, did you receive the letter that I requested, that I just heard the gentlelady of the 3rd Ward state that?
We was never on the list. We was never on the list.
Okay, but she just stated that she got that information that I originally requested.
Any federal dollars.
We were put on a
We were never
list
on the list.
for the intent
We
and
was
was taken
never
off.
on the list.
Okay, so
Any federal money that the city of Benton Harbor receives, the mayor has to.
Okay, so again, the question remains, even to the citizens, what's the harm in the intent? Just in case we become eligible for some of that free money and don't have to pay it back, that we're granted a grant.
In order to.
Intent,
In order to receive those funds, you have to do a
letter of intent,
application.
and a letter of intent first. So we don't have anybody qualified to do the
No,
application.
we already did this in 2019.
This is going to be a total different application process
And
many
you
different
voted no.
applications. I sure did, because I was having faith in the president that was coming forth to do exactly what's being done now.
So the very.
Too bad that you walked on that site and
The
not that.
very thing that you asking us to do now, you voted against.
I sure
Mayor,
did.
order, Mayor, you are badgering the late gentle lady down there.
I'm just telling you. the
No,
truth.
no, sir.
And you voted against it.
So what? I did not
You
want
out
the
of order.
citizens to
You out of
have
order.
that. I didn't want the citizens, you got another year of your water and sewer to go up again. So yes, I did vote no for it, but you voted yes.
I sure did.
And they fixed what they wanted to, from the bridge, from the river, all the way up to Fair Avenue. So my other question is to the city manager, we don't have another date for before November 1. So how would we, as a council, as elected officials, know that your research is done and what your decision was?
So we applied through the EPA.
Please, excuse me.
We're talking
My
about
question was through
the now.
you.
It's to the chair.
No, my question was through the chair to the city manager. I
I
don't need,
recognize the city
I
manager.
don't need
I
your,
recognize.
I
the
don't
city
need
manager.
your
You
input.
can't, you cannot make that decision.
Well, I have the floor and you cannot interrupt me again.
Are you speaking to the chair?
I'm not speaking to the chair to go through the city manager to ask my
I
question.
recognize the city manager.
Recognize and do whatever you got to do.
So,
Stop
We
interrupting me.
applied for funds from the EPA.
You are still gonna do it, Mayor.
I'm gonna tell the truth.
I'm not asking for your
We
truth,
applied
I'm asking for the
funds
city manager
To the
to talk
EPA.
about what we're talking about.
That's what
I
I'm
have
talking
the
about.
floor, it does not
He was
include
not
you.
here.
What does that got to do with it?
He don't know.
What make you know?
Because I was here.
Well, I was too, so you can't tell me. I'm asking the city manager. Because I've heard what come out your mouth, Mayor.
You just don't like the truth.
No, that's not it, because it ain't always the truth.
Point of order.
The funds we applied for was to the EPA. We did it with the assistance of Eagle. And we had to do an application. We had public hearings. And we had to vote on it. And part of the application process, we had to raise rates. At that time, we had no money. And we had to fix the water distribution system or lose the water filtration plant and the water tower. So we had to do what we had to do at that time. So rather than us applying again and having to raise rates on residents again,
we have $20 million at our disposal to do exactly what you're talking about. So rather than raise rates on residents to apply for another loan, we can use the $20 million that the state has given the city.
Shouldn't have to use it for that.
That's what it's for.
Oh, okay, then we are still entitled and eligible for more. But in all of that,
The
if I
chair
may,
recognizes Commissioner Henderson.
No, ma'am, no,
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 The chair recognizes Commissioner Henderson.
no.
no, I had my
The
hands up.
chair recognizes Commissioner
No,
Henderson.
I don't know what's the, city clerk, what's the process, because he is totally out of order today.
The
He's
chair,
not gonna be
the
just,
chair recognizes.
bullying the meeting, no. You was first not following protocol by interrupting the commissioner. And she asked for, through the chair, proper protocol, but the city manager asked the question. You interrupt that, you are not gonna continue to do this. You are out of order and out of line. And you will recognize us.
Would you like to speak, Commissioner Henderson?
We want the clerk or the attorney to give us a
Yeah, because I
opinion on your action.
This will not be over if it's not done right, really.
We need the clerk or the city attorney
That's what I
to
said.
respond to her concern.
you know what's,
Commissioner Henderson has, yielded her time. You recognize Commissioner Blackburn.
First of all, that's only 2 weeks away for the deadline. We do not have another meeting till November the 7th. The deadline is November the 1st. Another thing, I believe the question that Commissioner Henry asked was through the chair for the city manager, what harm would it do to do a letter of intent?
He answered.
Also, I believe Commissioner Adams had a motion on the floor,
Yes.
so it needs to be
In
addressed.
this discussion,
Okay.
and the manager answered her
Well, I
question.
move, I move to end the debate.
Chair recognizes
too long.
Commissioner Henderson.
I was just gonna say, since there's a lot of discussion around this item, and there is a motion on the floor, I would suggest this particular item going to Commissioner Isom's committee to have further discussion around a process and around usage or even creating the letter of intent around what Commissioner Adams is saying. I do disagree with it, but I would say if this is something that needed to be discussed, then it should happen, because as the mayor stated, 2 of them voted against this particular thing because we had to raise rates on citizens. And so to apply for another loan to raise rates again on the residents would be ridiculous. And the 2 people in this chamber who was arguing this point voted against these same funds that we voted on. So I'm kind of confused about it, which I think
don't
we
be.
should have discussions around it in the finance committee.
What finance committee? There isn't one this month.
Call a special meeting at any point. 2
You can't,
commissioners can call a special
we
meeting.
did that last week, week before, to no avail.
So I can't support writing a letter at this time for raising rates on rent.
I call for the question.
Who said something about rate? Nobody said nothing about raising no rates on no residents. Where you get
That's
that
what
from?
this long, but that's.
No, it's not alone, and there are
It
many.
is, it
There are
is.
many in different kinds, and
Director
some of them
Little-
are
Director
grants.
Little, can you speak to that?
I don't really have enough information, Madam Mayor.
I do.
I understand it.
So, Madam Clerk, call the roll. This is to suspend the rules.
Commissioner Henry? To suspend the rules?
To suspend the rules.
To add the motion.
When, that's not even part of our protocol to suspend the rules. We've been through this before. We don't have to suspend
We
the
got to
rules.
suspend the rules. Add item.
Yes.
Commissioner Isom?
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats?
Wait,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams?
yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin?
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards?
No.
Commissioner Henderson?
No,
Mayor Mohammed?
No.
Motion carried.
Any items should be separated?
Yes,
Chair
but wait a minute.
recognizes-
If that passed, don't we go on to vote on the motion for the letter of intent?
Right.
It's just added to the agenda.
Oh, okay, okay. So,
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
I'd like to separate that from the agenda and also separate the resolution to approve purchase of the electrical connection services for Catalyst Cable System.
resolution to approve, purchase of environmental asbestos assessment services for CBG demolition program, as well as approval of exclusive option to purchase and authorization to rehab 2 city-owned housing units.
Any other items? Hearing none. Is there a motion for the approval of the consent calendar?
Motion to approve.
Motion is made by Commissioner Adams. Support. Supported by Commissioner Isom. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Oh, man. Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards,
Can you repeat the vote, we're reporting?
consent calendar,
Oh, yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
First separated item, resolution to approve the purchase of environmental asbestos assessment services for the CDBG demolition program.
I make a motion.
Motion is made by Commissioner Edwards, supported by Commissioner Anderson. Is there discussion? Chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
Thank you, Mayor Mohammed. I think that this was discussed a little and not enough grave detail. In public safety, was it? Public safety, it had to be yours because nothing has been discussed in plan economic development. Public safety about the demolition of the demolition is a program within itself, but purchase of environmental asbestos assessment service. I need clarity on that. A service itself. I thought that the discussion that I remember hearing was to work with some type of contractor to actually possibly do some training for, I think I better hear from the one with the answers.
Chair recognizes Director
Anytime we are going to demolish a number of houses, we are required by law to go through getting an assessment for asbestos. And if asbestos is found, then we'll have to do another contract for abatement of the asbestos. Now, if we don't do that, we're required to treat that house as if it has asbestos, which means it goes to Class 3 landfill where you pay a significant amount of money to dispose of it. By doing the assessment, we can separate those that have asbestos from those that don't and go ahead and start tearing them down. What really attempting to do is see if we can get some of these places demolished before winter sets in.
So, Honorable Mayor, thank you. And I guess I wanted greater understanding about these properties when I requested via email a listing of those properties. and an update on the properties that the city of Benton Harbor residents has put forth the purchase of foreclosed homes. I would still like that list of the properties to be demoed. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Edwards.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Mayor. Through the chair to, I guess, say Director Little. Some of these projects, will they require the covering or the, what you want to say, thing, the bubble they have to put over?
It will depend on what the assessment turns out, and what type of asbestos it is. If you got friable asbestos, it's gonna fly in the air and so forth. They have certain required means that they have to take protection and set up by the state.
Make sure. This is, Honorable.
Point of order, please. Chair recognizes Commissioner Henry.
Thank you, Mayor. Asbestos. All I can see is training for our people. These jobs are always up for RFP out, and it's a easy task to be trained to take care of hazardous waste, mold, lead, asbestos. So we got a Section 3, we're paying all of this money out. And we should take that last down payment for all of these unemployed people in Benton Harbor and take that Section 3 money and train them on how to do everything that we're paying for. We should train our people so they can get paid to do it. And especially on lead and asbestos. We have to prepare our people for the next 2 to 5 years. They should be ready to have a gainful employment. In 2 to 5 years, they should be working at everything that we actually pay for. So asbestos, lead, mold, and any other thing that we have to deal with, we need to take our
Point
Section
of
3.
order, please. There's not a sidebar conversation.
We need to take our Section 3 policy, which requires us to take that last drawdown for all vendors that did not hire our people like they were supposed to. So every time I see something like this, that we gotta go outside our community and all we have to do is to train some people, I have to say it. So it's a great idea that we have to get this work done, but it should have some training attached to it. Thank you.
Call for the question.
I'd like to apologize if this was the list that I requested.
That's another resolution.
Okay.
Call for the question.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams.
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
No.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next separated item is a resolution to approve the purchase of electrical connection services for the camera surveillance system. Is there a motion for the approval?
Motion to approve.
Motion is made by Commissioner Adams.
Second.
It is seconded by Commissioner Edwards. Is there discussion? Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Look at this and there to see it. Just want to know the time frame this is gonna happen and, understand the procurement process. But my prayer is, being honest, that it doesn't take as long as it's taking for us to get this equipment down here. The microphones, video, which has been voted on for probably about 8 months now, you know. And we said that we were gonna have this done and over with. So I do want to know what's the time frame on that and everything from now on, once we vote on it. We do need to know the time frame, before we get a receipt, and get our money back. We spent a whole lot of money on trying to update this, and hopefully we get it done before Christmas. So, or the last meeting of the month, but, I would like to know the video surveillance, hopefully it's the same contractor, or what's the time frame or timeline on that? Thank you, Honorable Mayor.
Mr. Manager,
This is the time frame.
I did. I confirmed with, Mr. Gunn at Bedouin Electric on Friday that, if this is awarded to them, they'll be able to start on it right away. And then I also passed that information to, Buddy Lee with Videotech, which is a company that will actually be installing the cameras. Advising him that we had just sent 11 SIM cards to the camera supplier for him to install in the cameras. So they'll be ready. And Mr. Lee is coming down, I believe, tomorrow or Wednesday to start lining up to get ready so that as soon as the electrician starts getting the power to the poles, he'll start installing the cameras. And we're trying our best to see if we can get it done before the weather sets in.
so I do, and I appreciate that, Mayor Pro Tem Seats. The time, we need a projected date. That's very important.
If the weather doesn't stop, they're gonna have it done by the end of the year.
So they won't, well, I mean, as far as being paid, because what we, paying somebody to do the work before they do it, and then it don't get done until next June. Can't do that.
No, we're not doing that.
Okay.
We paid for the cameras.
Right.
Or to get the equipment.
Right.
But the rest of the installation and this electrical work, we pay for after it's done.
Okay.
Yeah, the cameras are there, that's why he's putting SIM cards in them, because
Okay.
that's how they'll
So this is the last phase.
This is the last phase.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
Oh, I want to thank my colleague for mentioning that, because, and to hear that it's right before Christmas, yeah. So nobody catches the wrong Santa Claus going down their chimney. Thank you, sir.
Call for the question.
One more question, Mayor, please.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Henry.
How much is this additional expense on these? I know we paid for the camera, we know how much we paid. And then we paid for something else.
Installation,
$62,650.
That's total
For the electrical, yes.
for the electrical work.
Right, which includes putting in
Six-
another pole at one part that where it's gonna be.
Yeah.
62,000, it's in your resolution,
Okay,
650.
and that includes the poles, that's everything.
That's everything.
So we're not gonna look at any more expenses on this other than once they install it and the camera.
I've not heard of any more expenses, it should be everything.
And this last connection you made, was very fast and expedient. And I really appreciate whatever you did to get the work done, because this chamber's been waiting for 2 years and it ain't got the work done yet. So I appreciate what you did for our public safety on this one. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I do apologize, I should ask this before. These cameras, I see by the Blessington Bridge. That's what I'm saying.
No.
That's our information.
Oh, I understand that, but no, one of my main concerns has been about the cameras. I'm not gonna put them all out there, but, the bodies that have been found in the river.
Oh.
Will there be a camera somewhere, because as we had so eloquently talked about a long time ago, if this is not somebody who's committed suicide, then a lot of these bodies are being found in the river, and they say no foul play, which is no slap to anybody. But we do need to find out if we can get something close down there, so when this does happen, you know, we don't have anybody who has an uprise, because this has been going on for years, and some people have speculated it could be a serial, because a lot of these people share the same attributes. Either they're on drugs, or they've had mental issues, or whatever they've had, or alcoholism, or whatever it is, was the cause of death. But I would just want to make sure that we do, make sure we do have some cameras down there. Thank God we're there for a lot of time.
Call for the question.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats?
Yes.
Commissioner Adams?
Most definitely, yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin?
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Henry?
Yes.
Commissioner Isom?
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Approval of exclusive option to purchase and authorization to rehab 2 city-owned housing units. Is there a motion for it?
Motion to approve.
Motion is made by Commissioner Adams, supported by Commissioner Edwards. Is there discussion? Chair recognizes the person who made the motion is actually supposed to speak last for the record.
Well, to talk then if you just need
But
to. Cause you just
I'm
love to
gonna
stir up
I'm gonna recognize
somebody's.
you first. It's just that, this burden that is out.
No, it ain't burning.
Okay, is anyone else other would like to speak on this particular item
Okay.
before the gentlelady who made the motion?
What is
Chair
the item
recognizes
now?
Member Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I would ask of this, being that it was just dated October 17th, 2022, that it should go through
Table.
Plan Economic Development with all due respect, before we even vote or even acknowledge. Somehow it jumped on the agenda, and I don't have a problem with how it jumped on there. But when I'm looking at it, there's a lot of things on there that kind of look, not that we're not for it, not that we're against it, but I think it needs to be vetted. Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Because there's a lot, let me finish the process. In this letter, there's a lot of implications and statements that speak for the city of Benton Harbor, and which is good because that's our director. But I want to know if there's some other things. If this does not have any time implications, I would definitely want to talk about this through our committee. Thank you, Honorable Mayor. If you want to hit the ball.
So, Director Little, would they be purchasing this land?
No, these are the two houses on Superior and on Colfax that we bought from the tax sale. And what we're proposing to do is to, at this point, simply firm up that they'll have an option to acquire it, so that they can go ahead and proceed with putting a roof on and starting to redevelop it. And then what we would do is a transaction with them where it's sold to them, but for the sole purpose of reselling it to qualified low and moderate income citizens, so that it accomplishes the purpose that we're trying to do, which is to provide housing for low income residents.
Would that clause be there if they did not fulfill the terms and obligations?
It wouldn't change hands.
It would revert back.
Wouldn't change hands.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
Thank you. I'm just, in everything we can agree to disagree, but, I started off following the process because what we practice becomes to be a habit. And I've been doing that for the 20 years that I've been down here. I've been trusting and following the process and expect for everybody else to as well. That has not been happening. There was a young gentleman that came before us. There's a property that's been in question, and I've been asking questions about it, and I just heard Director Little mention one of the property, well, he didn't give an address. So I may be wrong, but if I'm right, there's a property owner right next door that wants the same respect, and I want the same transparency that the first decision was made upon allowing that young gentleman to rehab his family home before that didn't fall through. And I don't want anybody to think that somebody is trying to hold up progress for this newly formed CDC. Because I happen to think that Ms. Ashley Hines is a young, bright, brilliant mind with some terrific young people behind her and their future and economic growth. They're willing to take on that challenge and that task, and I commend them. And I want to see them succeed. And where I'm going with this, which again, I asked for that list of those foreclosed properties that the city of Benton Harbor purchased from the county. We don't have to look for outside contractors or give them to Southwestern Michigan. When we have this fabulous young group, the CDC, to take the reins of them, because I got an email that I neglected to send to you. Actually, I'm going to send it to all my colleagues because there's some help available. And a gentle lady of the 3rd Ward brought it up. We have access to those AmeriCorps groups to come in that does the building hands-on stuff to work with our newly formed CDC to help get some stuff done. And let's get those homes back on the tax roll and some families into them that's interested in coming out of the other developments that's been built years ago that have children that truly want to own their own home ownership. I'm in agreement with that, but I suggest this be tabled until it goes through the proper process of vetting of Planning and Economic Development Committee, please.
Director, when we go into these types of agreements, especially with like organizations, do we require financial statements? Or if they're 501c3, or if they're a corporation, if they are a LLC, do we require their documentation up front, or, to see if they even have the capacity to take on 2 properties? Do we require that they have at least 5,000 in their account? Or do we want to see a year worth of tax returns on that corporation? Do we have any type of criterion that we have set in place to make sure that we are, dealing on behalf of the residents with an organizational group that has the capacity to do that?
And the answer to that is ordinarily we would. In this instance, you note the one letter that was on the back that I had signed supporting them some time ago. They actually, at the point in time when they requested that letter, they had already started a relationship with the Federal Home Loan Bank Board, with Honor Credit Union, several others out here, people that I was talking to verify what was going on with them, where they were getting money to work with people to get ready, preparing them for being able to, how to go into home ownership. afterward, they went back to those entities to get funds for doing rehab.
But we should
They've
know,
actually got the
we
money.
should be able to see some financials.
We should be vetted.
To where we can see, okay, you received a grant from the Home Ownership Foundation of $50,000, and that money is in this account. You had a capacity to rehab home XXX. And then we go into some type of agreement based on that. But just based on a name, a group, and somebody saying we want to do this work, we need to see some financials. We need to see and make sure that they're registered with the Attorney General's office. If they're LLC, if they're a corporation, if they're a 501c3, we need to make sure that they're legit to protect the city. Am I saying something wrong?
No, I agree with Commissioner Adams. Actually, it needs to be tabled and vetted. Because I have not seen, I mean, I'm somewhat familiar with communities.
The
within our
process.
But
Chair recognizes Mayor.
Well, that's the only thing I would suggest to us as a body. As I heard people say that the attorney don't know or can't give a report if he does not have the information on a legal binding document. And this is legally binding if we give them permission by a vote. And I think you still have to have 6 votes.
To sell it.
Well, but you're gonna end up selling it, because if you give it to if you're getting somebody ready to purchase, and then they're the middleman doing the work, and we're preparing somebody to purchase the house, then I don't want on the back end of not having 6 votes,
Right,
and they're trying to purchase a home.
right. I think we need to
Because
work with them.
I think that it behooves us to hear what the attorney has to say concerning the contract, and then if we're gonna open up the floodgates to people who want to buy property in the community who want to rehab it, then I think we should have a set process for everybody. And because what's happening now, you're gonna get, and I wanna say this, Mayor, with all due respect to our management team and to this body. The day of people doing stuff and then coming back to us after it's done should be over with. We don't need to make up with nobody, and we don't need to kiss up with nobody. Don't come to us after you're done, then trying to make a remedy after it's already completed. And that's what's happening in this community because of the lack of respect to the government. People do whatever they want to do. Then they come back to us and say, well, let's make it right one way or another. We'll give you a couple fish, goldfish, we took the piranha. No, the day is over with. Come do it right. And then when after it's done, we all shake hands, cut ribbons, and keep it moving. But what's going on now is not the correct way to do it from the back instead of the front. Thank you, Honorable Mayor.
So.
Table it.
No, move it forward to the Planning and Economic Development Committee that's coming up.
There's a motion here.
Make a motion to table it and move it to the Planning and Economic Development Committee.
Support.
Meeting.
There is a motion to table the approval of exclusive option to purchase and authorization to rehab 2 city-owned housing units by Mayor Pro Tem Seats, is supported by Commissioner Adams. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Mayor Muhammad.
Yes.
Motion carried.
The last item, which was brought from the floor, we have no resolution or any kind of letter. So I'm going to yield to Commissioner Adams to present this.
I just basically think that it would do us well if we would give the directive to the city manager to send the letter of intent Now, I don't know if we're cutting out a middleman or a first man, like Avonmarsh was the one that brought that last one to us. That of the work that needed to be done and the bond that we ended up taking out that ended up causing the water rate that, no, I did not approve of putting on my poor and impoverished people that are already suffering, and my vote was no. Then. And I'm not sure what it's going to look like with the choices that will be coming forth to us. There may be something amongst the many that we can agree on and some that we cannot, because our work to continue with planning and economic development and growth and job creation will make a person able-bodied to be able to pay.
Commissioner,
My motion is to give the city manager the directive to send that letter of intent for the next round of SRF funds, period, before November 1st deadline.
and what are SRF funds? Can you explain it to me?
The FRS funds are federal dollars. Their SRF stands for State Revolving Fund. They're funding that's always available from the federal government that comes through the state that allows different projects throughout the country, actually, in various, all communities. But all of this money is not allotted to everybody, which is the real special thing about the discussions that I've been in and involved in for my community, is that it's for distressed communities. And they're coming in the form of loans. Some are, you can take out a bond with a low interest rate, some no interest rate grants that are forgivable. That's the one my eyes are on, because I see myself voting again, no. If it costs my people in this community a higher rate, but if there is an intent and an opportunity for us to get more infrastructural work done in our community without it costing our residents, why would you not send a letter of intent?
That was a question.
And in the midst of all of this, for the life of me, I can't figure out why everybody keeps saying you and another commissioner voted no, but you don't hear none of them that voted yes telling you that your water bill can be paid even if it's $5,000 with some of these same federal dollars over at Southwestern Michigan Action Agency. They got billions to pay them. Go and apply.
Do you have that?
I have a motion. To direct,
What is the motion?
to direct the city manager to send a letter of intent to apply for the 2023 SRF funds
Before November.
before November 1st deadline.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem.
I would ask if it's of grave significance that this body forces Commissioner Ice would have a meeting to fully vet that issue if it's of that nature.
Go ahead and force it.
Have a special meeting so we can do that before November 1st
It's not costing.
to know for sure what we're asking the federal government, because we're asking the federal government for a loan. And I think we just should have a discussion beyond 9 o'clock at night. If we can have a discussion, get the exact information and the exact application to what we're asking for. It just behooves us before we do ask. I do understand what we did vote for before. It did raise the rates and it did do some other things. Did get a lot of stuff done. But just looking at the future, I don't think we can afford, especially after they put them on the taxes and the amount that they're going to, counties are already charging extra on some of those dilapidated water bills. I don't think you can put any more. I think the hand is pretty much whooped. his water bill and, situation. I don't think we should ask him to pay anymore. So if this is to raise the rates, we should know.
No.
If it's to lower the rates, we should know. If it's to help the rates, we should know. But I think we need to have exact information before we do, vote to say, send a letter.
This is not anything having to do with being charged anything. This is a letter of
I agree,
intent.
Mayor Pro Tem. This should go through the Personnel and Finance Committee.
Okay, listen, Bernard.
And we need to have the actual facts of the state revolving funds as it relates to what we would be applying for.
The options haven't come
Because
through
the
yet.
letter as last time, which I wrote the last letter, has to be very specific of what you're asking for. And after the letter, the application is attached and accompanies the letter of intent. So you can't just write a letter without applying the application process. Your intent is to apply, but that an application follows that. Otherwise, the letter means nothing. So we need to go through the proper committee before we give a directive and have all of the actual facts. So I make a motion to table.
Support.
So motion on the floor.
You got something?
Mayor,
They make a motion
I'd
to
like to
table.
make a comment on it before we vote.
Chair recognizes Commissioner.
Thank you. Now, city manager said it's due on the 1st, and he's gonna let us know about it. Somebody else recommended we have a special meeting, and we know that some of us are going, to a conference, so we can't have a special meeting. So my question,
We can't have a special meeting.
Have money.
It's Personnel and Finance special meeting.
when are you speaking of, Mayor?
So you can have a meeting, not this, you can have it next Monday. We come back from the conference on Friday.
As long as we have it, and we'll, through the chair and the city manager, will he be able to have his research done by your special meeting on the 24th? Am I speaking right on the 24th?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So my question through the chair is, will the city manager have that information by the 24th?
Yes.
Thank you.
Commissioner Adams?
Oh,
Do
you
you
call me?
Yes. Do you withdraw your motion?
No.
Call for the question.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Isa,
This is for,
this is for Commissioner Adams' motion.
Letter of intent.
no,
Commissioner Singleton,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
No.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards,
No.
Commissioner Henderson,
No.
Mayor Mohammed,
No.
motion failed.
This brings us to staff comments. Chair recognizes the Public Safety Director. Chair, yes, city assistant.
Good evening. The fieldwork project for this year is almost wrapped up. So you won't be seeing anybody out on the streets. Well, you will, visiting building permits, but for this project, it's about done.
Chair recognizes Community Economic Development Director.
Yes, sir. I would just like to expand just a little bit on the discussion that we just had. First, I'll say I'm perfectly happy with whatever the commission wants to do, no argument. But one thing that was missed, I think, when we were discussing this, is the very first word, conditional exclusive option purchase and permission. And again, and where it says therefore be it resolved, you'll see again in there, the conditional statement. The reason the city attorney hadn't seen it is there's nothing for him to see yet. All that was going to be written up in the option. All of the terms and so forth that would have to be done. And I was doing it this way only to expedite the process because winter's coming on fast. And you saw on the back, the email where they were talking about getting ready to try to do the roofs. Next week, I believe we got some 70-degree days coming up, and so forth. So we would simply be able to put a document together, get all of the required stuff, and get it going. But it'll work this way fine. It'll just take a little longer.
Chair recognizes the finance director.
Thank you. Just want to let everyone know that we're pressing along with the audit, getting things gathered. And I just want to make a comment about the SRF funds because I did send out a detailed email regarding this. And the SRF funds is actually a loan, which I believe upwards of 7% is forgiven. And we were on the list because of Eagle had applied for us and put us on that list. And after looking at it, it was unfavorable for us to take that loan, and it was more favorable for us to receive the ARPA funds, which was more favorable for the city, which we have no recourse of paying anything back for. So that's my recollection on it, but we will dig further into it once we have the personnel and finance committee meeting, and we'll look further into it.
Chair recognizes city attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. Other than I concur with our finance director regarding the, his comments regarding the revolving loan fund, loan, I have nothing to report.
Chair recognizes the city clerk.
Thank you. So I wanted to give you an update on the absentee ballots so far this season. 597 absentee ballots were sent out. So far, we've received 152 back. There's still time to get your application in. It's really easy to do online. If you just go to mi.gov/vote, you can take care of it all right there.
Thank you. Chair recognizes city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. The question was raised earlier about the chamber and why it's taking so long. And well, we informed you in the past that there were supply chain issues, and those issues are still what's causing it sometimes. The second thing, we're having an Environmental Friday coming up. Mr. Little, can you give the details on that, please?
Yes, Friday morning, through Andrews University, Marcy Hamilton from Swim Pack will be giving a presentation online regarding Ox Creek. We just, we've been having a series of meetings. We're trying to get things going on that, working with Eagle, DNR, the Waterways Division, various others. And I'll simply be introducing, and she'll be giving a discussion on that. So be a good opportunity if you're interested to tune in and hear what's happening.
And we wanna make sure that all of the commissioners know and be on that call, and you hear the details of what we've been doing and where we are on the project, and get some facts. And this is the last thing we need to talk about.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. And just remember that for as loud as it is, it's gonna sound just like my dad is writing the image and likeness of when the heavens open up. I want to thank the residents for coming out, taking time out of your busy schedule to find out how your government is working for you or not, because sometimes it doesn't. And I thought that that's what American government was put together for, to work for the people. For the people, by the people. We all know the song. And we still pledge allegiance to it. I'm telling you, we are living in some very scary times, especially with others in other countries talking about Armageddon. We shouldn't have to worry. We're trying to get clean drinking water. An American jewel to have what freedoms that we do have. And yet we have service members that have fought, that's homeless. And we have some that don't think that we need low-income housing. We have still youth sleeping on other people's couches, corners of their home. They don't want them there. But it's about to be wintertime. We need all kind of housing. And we need those that are willing to step up to the plate, like this young organization, CDC. And we need to be working with them on every level. Not to say that they're going to get everything, but we, this black body, need to be working with this young organization on every level that we can help them to succeed. We've been talking about raising young leaders for the future. They're showing up. They showing up. They not. No, they trying to kick the door down. But we need them to keep their feet on solid ground. We don't need to be taxed for anything else. We pay the highest insurance, highest taxes, highest water rates. And that's another conversation that y'all gonna be hearing about within the next few days about your water. But I dare me put in a letter of intent that I'm a little inkling may get you a free grant to do one pipe. That's sad. When all it takes is the intent. But I just heard that we were on a list. But just because our fabulous governor put forth this 45 million, it ain't got nothing to do with these billions that are coming down the pipeline. It's totally separate, and somebody, is it because this community is predominantly black? How dare me do that? That's too much. No, it's really not enough. It's really not enough.
Amen.
We've been redlined for far too long, and what's going on right now with this decision making, we got Negroes redlining other Negroes. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all night.
Good evening, everybody. I'm gonna say it's not a lot, but it's gonna speak volume. What you witnessed today was the mayor abusing his power and authority. The mayor is a member of the commission, and what he did, especially against Commissioner Henry, was violation of the code of ethics. And he does not have veto power. I don't know if he know that or not, but he does not have veto power. I just want to make sure that's duly noted. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner Henry.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. All the citizens that are here in person to see this travesty today, and I call it a travesty because a lot of untruths were said. And when you ask for the proof paper-wise, that's when the problem comes. So, I just have to say that the mayor, you are being very disrespectful, and I am going to file a complaint with the clerk so we can all look at how it's really supposed to be done. I asked the clerk as well as the attorney for opinion on it, and they both sit there wide-eyed like, oh, please don't go after the mayor. But we gotta get an understanding a protocol and how this meeting is supposed to be run. And that's for all of us, the ones that interrupt, the one that talk, and it's just dysfunctional. And we need to get a handle on it. And I would appreciate if the attorney or the clerk, who is our, have some understanding of it and put us on track. Because we're off track. It's bad enough we working with what the state left us with and wondering why we can't function. Because we're working against our own charter with what the state left here. So that's one reason why we're just spinning around and around, because it don't work. Because we never changed all of that stuff that the state put in on us. And I'm going to ask this question about Friday online. But before I ask that question and have Mr. Little, I want to talk about a meeting that's scheduled tomorrow. And this meeting is a public meeting. And it's all about the water plant. We actually paid for someone to do an analysis of our water plant. They came back to us a month or so ago and they said, this is what we recommend. I personally told them that I didn't accept that recommendation. And I was under the impression that we had given them instructions to go back and find another way to do it. But here we come back again for tomorrow. Same recommendation. Nothing's changed except some words that St. Joe City changed. So 4 of us will meet at 9 o'clock and 4 of us will meet at 10 o'clock. So what are we going to make a decision about in either one of these sessions? We can't meet as a unit and make a decision unless it's a public hearing. So what are we making a decision about in these 2 sessions? So I heard somebody say divide and conquer, and it works. My question to the city manager is what decisions could we make if we all met together on this project? And the last question is on Friday online, where Marcy is going to give us some information about Ox Creek. Can you give us more information about that so we can make sure that we get involved?
Wow.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Evans.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Good evening to everyone here. Glad to see you all this, whatever weather we got out there. I want to say that I had the privilege today and the honor of talking to one of my children. He came to this meeting twice. And the discussion he gave me yesterday, well, not yesterday, Saturday and today, no, it ain't private, but it needs to be said more often by us commissioners. Not by the residents, by the commissioners. Because I've been talking to some residents. I haven't talked to all of them. But I have talked to some. Now, don't rush me. So, here's the conversation we had. Dad, how long you been a commissioner? It'll be 3 years January. So, why is it that y'all can't get together and do something together, why is it every time I go there, I want to leave? Because there's argument, there's confusion. We forget what y'all voting on. Y'all forget what y'all voting on. Why is you doing this? Then he said, I said, what would you suggest? He don't live here, wasn't born here, none of that. He got this out of 2 meetings. I suggest every last one of y'all be replaced. And I looked at him. I didn't say nothing. This is my son. I told him to be honest. I said, okay, you only been here like, what? Off and on, you here? How did you come up with that? He said, out of the 2 meetings I attend. He said, I look at the agenda and I be like, oh man, this is exciting. But by the time we discuss it, he's like, I don't forget what even y'all was talking about. And it's senseless to sit there and to keep listening. And I'm quite sure I cannot be the only one that sits up here and see that. I can't be the only one. There's no way in the world I can be the only one. In 10 seconds. Here's the other side of the conversation we had. If the residents knew that we were understaffed, why don't the residents get out in the streets and help clean up?
And they don't need us.
Then he said, Dad, why don't you try to get out there and do something? I said, I did. I do it all the time. How many residents come out? I don't count. I just do it. My question is with 30 seconds. I know for sure unity is better than numbers. And here's a fact. The mayor was there. I coached a team at the end of a game with 4 players. We played Barron Spring, they had 15. The opposing coach went to the referee and asked the referee to remind me that I only got 4 players and I need to forfeit instead of embarrassing the kids and embarrassing the parents. I said, nah, that ain't gonna happen. Why? I said, because there's still time on the clock and we only losing by whatever it was. And I said, so it would be embarrassing me to go tell my team that you said that we can't win. And guess what? He couldn't eliminate us because we could play with 4. We won. What I'm saying is this. Just think about if we got together and it don't even matter what the odds is. At the end of the day, Ben Harbor residents win. But as long as we sit here and go back and forth with all this nonsense, we're going to continue to be here and we're going to continue blaming somebody else coming to take over. They ain't taking over. Yeah. They just came in an empty spot and filled it. I'm done.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Ice.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I just want to thank everybody for coming out for the sake of time. Thank you for being. Expect great things. Thank you, Honorable Mayor.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner Singleton.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Real quick, just, let's get back to some of the issues tonight. Bishop Mason, I know it's Mason, track star.
Speak up,
But
please.
I know how it is to put, kids through college and trying to get some of the loans and stuff forgiven and stuff. I know hopefully somebody can get to the bottom of that and help get an understanding, and just to have some answers, it can be done, it could be, it can't, why not? And so let's get that done. We don't have, that's an autonomous body, so that they kind of had it on board. And so, hopefully somebody who's close to them can call somebody up and say, hey, get some answers or something. Glad to get the cameras moving. That's been a project that's been going on for a while. And, hopefully, we see some results. And people just start telling folks, you know, you know, you're being watched. So don't be coming in here dumping, you know, garbage, trash, or whatever, or whatever else you're doing. You know, people come down every meeting and ask, you know, for us to do something. You know, and now on the other hand, when something getting done, don't want to have folks coming down saying, "Hey, why are you doing that?" You know, so if you're doing something wrong, as I think Beretta used to say, you know, do the crime, you know, do time, you know. So it's to protect everybody and try to make a place, you know, a wonderful place to live in. So we've been fighting at it. We've been getting to get it done. Now it's about to happen. So we got a meeting after the meeting. So we'll quit talking now.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I'd just like to thank all the residents for coming out, all the staff for being here. We actually have another meeting once this is over. We have a closed session. So I'll be brief, but there's just been a lot of conversation tonight about a lot of different things. Hearing from the residents. But I'd just like to make this one point in terms of, one of the commissioners brought up the way the meetings are ran. It's like the broken window theory. When something in our context, you guys can look that up, just visible signs of crime in the community that continues to happen, and people normalize behaviors and actions because it's continually being done. And so when you come into a space like this and people are talking out from the audience, people are arguing, you make these kinds of environments feel normal when that's not how government is supposed to respond to each other. As Commissioner Edwards says, talked about unity. Unity is the thing that you can get done anything. In the Bible, people were trying to build a tower to God because of their unity. They almost did it. He had to disperse them and confuse their languages because their unity was so strong. So to his point, our unity is what gets things done. But the antisocial behavior that we create in this environment, we create our context in our environment. We don't have to not get along. We can disagree agreeably and respectfully, and not in a way that creates disunity and animosity and animus towards somebody who has a different opinion, because that's the nature of democracy. You have differences of opinion, but you also should be able to get along with somebody, not take it personal, not have thin skin where everything somebody says you have to respond. You don't have to respond, you can ignore it. You don't have to respond. You're not a 2-year-old child that cannot ignore something. You can move on, hear what you need to hear, and do something with that information or not. And so as a body, as Commissioner Henry said, yes, we need to figure out how to normalize getting along and communication to solve our issues versus argumentative words, disrespectful words, these gotcha moments to put somebody on blast to make the city or the people look bad. Because when people see us, they don't see us individually, they see a body, a commission. So it's not one, it's the entirety of the commission. So thank you all for coming out, and hopefully we'll get this thing together. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, for just this brief moment of time. I know time is so far spent. We're on our way home. And I do want to recognize this one of the most beautiful, elegant mayors that we ever had in our time. Mayor Hub, we thank her for being here tonight, one of our very distinguished mentors. down through the years have taught us so much. And I served the city in every element that she can. And she is right that we don't get paid a lot for what we do. And the way sometimes we sit around and act, that we'll get paid a lot of money, but we're not paid a lot. But I do see a change happening in the city. I think that in 12 years, it's been 12 years, but we've been here, and when I first started, my hairline was right here, and now my hairline is pulling back a little bit on me, but I still have the right intentions of our residents at heart to make this city a better place for our residents and our constituents. I will say that it's one thing to build, but it's another thing to intentionally tear down. When you have individuals in your community that intentionally tears down everything, there's not been one good mayor since they've been in the community. Every city councilman has been wrong since they've been in the community. You know, just like going to church, if you don't like nobody there, then by the time you find a better place to go. Because if the body don't change, then what can you do? Run for office, do something different. There's a strategy that says that people are taking you over. Now, you know what's taking people over? Ignorance. And we follow crooks. You know, you have crooks that go and we'll build a monument of a crook. But an honest man, we won't give him 5 minutes. You know, and so that's the way it usually goes. And one of my statements that I used to use back in the day that I'll use now is that an organized lie is more powerful than disorganized truth. Organized lie is more powerful than disorganized truth. There's a lot of people that made a lot of money off this commission. They made a lot of money off of things that we've done, and they'll never give you credit for anything that you do. There's a lot of people who got it, you know. But my last 1 minute, I would like to say, there was a young man who came here doing a presentation and told y'all something that y'all didn't hear. And if you don't hear it, you better get a good grasp of it. He said, we're going to do it with you or without you. He was representing a corporation in the city. And the more I began to analyze that statement that he used, and I began to look at the behaviors of this said entity, it shows more and more that they're doing whatever they want to do and just letting us know after they get it done. The days of, I'm getting a little bit older now, so I don't eat what I used to eat, so you can't give me no turkey sandwich, no ham sandwich, no pickle loaf or anything like that. Don't want no cookies, don't want no chips. But we need to prepare for our young people to be able to have something. I will say, in that 15 seconds, 14, in my next committee meeting, I will be bringing forth the fact of the potential of making Martin Luther King Park be over here, Martin Luther King Memorial Park. Instead of having it at the front of the park, why don't we dedicate a whole park and put the monument where it needs to be and do Martin Luther King Memorial Park. Thank you, Honorable Mayor.
Thank you, Michael. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out, all the residents for your participation. I'd like to thank Mayor Hall for coming and being here. As you know, you don't need an invitation. You have a standing invite.
Thank you.
We are 95% complete with our lead lines. We changed out over 4,500 lines. There's about 200 left that have to be inspected to see which ones are lead or not. The city of Flint took 6 years to be at 95%.
Thanks to the citizens.
And it took the city of Benton Harbor less than a year. And the contractors that worked in Benton Harbor, the city of Flint just hired to go and finish the job in Flint. So despite all that you may hear, there's some great work being done in the city of Benton Harbor. And people want to know, what did you all do
Citizen major.
in order to get it to this point? There's also, right now, 91 homes have been inspected for lead inside the house, because residents can get up to $10,000 to change out your windows, your doors, siding, and that's through the Clean Home initiative through Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. You can apply online, you can get an application from City Hall. But there's been a total of $60 million that have been allocated to the city of Benton Harbor within the last year. 4 years, because 8.6 million we had already went after through the EPA grant, through the state revolving funds, through the Booker funds. So a lot of work has been done. We're just looking at the end point of it. We'll be traveling to the Michigan Municipal League Convention to get more information. We'll be leaving out tomorrow. Last year we went to a water workshop on how to acquire more funds, how to get more money. So these are the types of things that we'll be involved in to try and bring information back. Commissioner Henderson went, and she focused on housing. And now we have some housing developments working with the staff that will accommodate low income and all income based housing. So no good deed goes unpunished. There's always going to be differences. There's always going to be disputes. But at the end of the day, what is being done? And I'm proud to say that the city of Benton Harbor is not where it was, and it's not where it will be. But if you're looking for perfection, don't look in the mirror, because nobody is perfect. So we're all a work in progress. So with that being said,
Motion to adjourn
we
into
do
closed
have
session.
a closed session.
Secondly.
And I have to state the purpose. Closed session, review, manager evaluation, and pending lead line litigation and insurance coverage, duty to defend, indemnity.
Motion to
Is there a
adjourn
motion
into
to-
closed session on all of that.
The motion is made to go into a closed session, say a reason in 30 seconds. It is supported by Commissioner Henderson. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Edwards?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson? Yes. Commissioner Henry?
Yes.
Commissioner Isom?
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seed?
Yes.
Commissioner Adams?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin?
Yeah.
Mayor Muhammad?
Yes.
Motion carried.
No, what I'm asking you, did you send me? Well,
You said you wasn't.
Come on. I come and do
Commissioner Ida asked, follow the process. You be sure to let me know when you find out what the process is.
How
you doing? Wow.
With that money, you're saying that everybody.
Okay, Mr. Reynolds, should I contact you? Or you'll call me to let me know who you want to go there. We can take a walk and we have to get back to the office.
I don't even know that. That's what it
I give it to you. Both numbers are.
I got Karen to say that. I think she's running on the clock.
Yeah, I was a witness that she told me.
Okay, yeah, right.
So many new people.
Where's this car?
We need to do it. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know. Cheap, yeah, cheap. The other people ain't got rent. The other ones over there that tried it that last year, I'm biting them every chance they do.
Yeah, keep on biting.
They ain't doing right. We gonna do our.
I'm working on it.
You know, this, you know how they used to comb their hair, this part of the press, everybody see this in a while.
Oh, my goodness,
There's a lot of dandruff. There's a whole lot of things that you have to spread through the salt. There's been money that's been put in, never goes down.
You're right.
Right.
There's money to keep it out.
Yeah.
And so it's been so much cover. And they use, what's the company that you,
Moran.
to have covered up a lot of it from the cemetery that was $100,000 that would come from there, and they can't even find their equipment that's supposed that they purchased. So it's a lot of things that this little city is so small, it seems like it should be easy to keep it. But
And I see it, and that's gonna take me some time because it is.
Handcuffs going on. Oh, a lot of it. Some of it,
Yeah.
No, I got called.
Yeah, because I see the old records. Yeah, so it's gonna take me some time, but they got the right.
But so many of them that come in here because they know that a lot of them is so busy trying to get kickbacks
Yeah.
and get loans that they got no time to really take care of the city. So that those people come in and they take from the city too. So the city never gets a chance to recover. And they say, well, the people in the city should work. I'll be 80 next year. And I've been turning my wheels, trying to quit Kevin when he was a boy. I was out there cleaning the streets.
No, that's my neighbor.
Oh, your neighbor.
Yeah, that's, we used to go on the radio together.
Oh,
yeah. We had a couple radios.
But I've been sweeping all down past his house. Sweep the curb, clean it. And then used to, some of the kids used to come and steal flowers out of my yard. But I took a part in trying to make us be respected for who we were. We cleaned up a mess and everything. Now it's time for us to clean up and pick up and take care of our children for us. And so many are missing that mark. And so with this small city like this could be, what do they call it? What's the city that they burned down? Tulsa. This could have been another Tulsa. They could have had a attraction, a predominantly all black city. Could have had leaps and bounds. If they had just worked together.
Yeah. They just got it. Been hard, so hey.
We got talented people these days that me knowing landscaping and full designing and all that they would catch my name, get something passing through here and keep it city. But then won't use my expertise for doing landscaping and all. I can show you some of the work that in Chicago and other cities that they had me to do over here. Contractors had me to do here in this community. But our city seems to look overlooked. You're right. They don't want me there because I ran for this commission and the mayor was telling me to vote. And I was pulling for them to vote for him. I was putting them, easy for him, give him a chance.
That's
And
not
he's
right.
telling them I'm too old to drive.
No, your mind is there.
This was some years ago. This was about, and I was just probably in my early 70s.
You still.
But I was working hard and I could pull a day that a lot of young ones didn't take.
And I see.
It was willing.
I see good things happening.
They could, but we got to get these here, these right here that they're looking for.
It's a process.
Customers.
We have to trust the process, right?
But I'm talking about that we trust the process. What is that process? The one that leads.
No, the process.
Okay. I'd like to see you bring something different. I fought them for all those years that former director was away. I said, you all are violating your own charter. You haven't got the finest director. I own the dollar. Y'all want to come out here so you can visit this rate. And I kept on laughing.
So you should have been here when the
Because I can see, so it's not an easy task.
I know.
But it's not an impossible task.
No, okay.
Right, I'm sorry,
I
drive all the way
understand.
back.
I
Okay,
understand.
okay, so it's a 3 hour.
All right.
Get home about 1 or 2.
I fought for you to be here.
Okay. Okay, thank you. All right, thank you. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I was speaking to him, okay, baby, listen. See, if he can, hire, if he needs some help, I told him if he feel he's overwhelmed, that's the only way we can bring our money back.
Who is it?
The finance director.
Oh, yeah.
We paying Plant Moran.
Uh-huh.
And until he can get our money,
Uh-huh.
if he feels that he's able to do that.
That's right.
But if he's overwhelmed right now, let him get everything. So
It shouldn't take him long because he says he works for the state.
I don't care who works for.
City like
I
this,
don't care
he
who
can
works
get
for.
the hang of it.
No, I don't care who works for. Because sometimes when you come into a place where everything's been falling down,
I
it
know it
takes a
for
while.
years. I
You know, you did,
Mhm.
didn't. But our girl got a degree in finance.
Mhm.
Miss Warren,
Mhm.
she's got a bachelor's degree. I mean,
Yes, she was here a little while tonight.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She,
Yeah, he said
Miss Warren, I know.
she can make a position for her. Don't hold it off for herself. Make a position for her.
Right.
And I
And the
told
two of
her,
them could work and they could.
bring the money back.
That's
That money
right.
we bring back to pay her salary.
Mhm.
She lives here.
But
We
with
need-
Plant Moran and paying him, that's still a bulk, big bulk going on.
What we
But
won't
once he
need-
catch on, we won't need big
Well, and
Plant
you can
Moran.
have somebody help, because I told you, you might feel overwhelmed. Listen, let me tell you something. People, and you listen to this young man. People, we put people on a pedestal. Just because my father can look in here and do 50,000 yards of concrete without even using a pencil. He still needs help. Right, he needs help maybe. He knows that, but he might need help with somebody to pull the plow while he go out and get some more contracts. But we want to do it all because we're so high, and we got it. And everybody puts up on the pedal, oh, he's great. I don't find him somebody to help him.
You can run an operation by even supervising pretty much. Train that other one and
But just what I had to
supervise.
tell you, Miss, what's called an hospital?
You mean,
Miss Scott,
Eva's in the, oh my goodness.
she called me right before I get ready to come inside the late.
You gotta expose them first.
You know she be going down there to get her foot fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they told us not healing fast.
Oh, wow.
So they figured they put her in the center here,
I'm gonna.
and they can get it healed fast, because she was going once a week, they're having somebody come in. So they can do it 3 times. And it'll heal quicker.
I know she was saying that the man that was taking her, they
That
don't
was
want to take
him,
her.
that was Jennings, he was the Uber, his car got, his car broke down. So she had a girl taking her to stay, and then she have to have somebody do it 3 times a week to come into the house.
But it's a lot of work in my back. It's hard for me
You
because
don't
you have to
need to
pull
do
her
that.
legs out.
You don't need to do that.
And
I
stuff
know
like
that.
that.
No, you and nobody, I told her, I said, she can't do it.
I'm a year or year and a half older than her. So to
Yeah,
me,
but
having
even
to
if you
pull-
wasn't, you can't do it. She,
I heard myself one time catching her weight.
and then you gotta help up the steps and help her down the steps. I told her, I told Miss Emma that she can't do it, she needs help herself, she's going to therapy. And so she's doing the right thing, just like I was telling this finance director, get you some help. Go in that hospital and let them help you get well.
Right.
Instead of trying to pill.
That's right.
So that's what she is. But I'm gonna
But
call
she
her.
wants to stay at home and she just really needs to be in a place where she can have the
facility
Because
there.
they all.
That's
That's
exactly.
cool.
They all-
That's cool.
But she gonna come back home after he gets well.
Yeah, you know Sylvia Henry,
Yeah.
Organized
in-
crime, but I'm
back
gonna
in
tell you
hospital,
this.
she was in
As
a
long as I
recovery
got this
place.
proof, 'cause I showed my mortgage
And you know, she's
comments between
diabetic and she on that, what you call it when they filter
She
your
said
blood?
that it's definitely a
I
loss,
forget what they call it.
especially if I've been attacked.
Get paid.
Anyway, you have to have a blood
So,
filter every so often. But anyway, she had to have 2 surgeries while she was there at the rehabilitation place.
I ain't
She's been in the
selling it.
hospital
I'm
since
gonna
the
take this
summer.
trial.
No,
And
I
then
don't
she
need
went
the
a couple of months at
It's-
the.
she's some Pinterest.
She was married to my cousin Roger Henry. They're not good
Yeah.
relatives.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and so now she said she was sort of infertility, I think
That's how they got all this
and they
property.
put her back
They
over in
can
the
buy all these
hospital.
properties and stuff.
I told her
waiting on
because
people
she's
to
eating
die.
wrong. She wants ice cream, she
Miss
got
Cotton.
candy and all kinds of
Miss
stuff.
Cotton.
Mhm.
But see, here go the thing. I don't
She's
need any money.
diabetic.
No, oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, it's good.
Oh, no.
I haven't,
Well, you can eat
have
that
enough
stuff.
to take care of
I
myself.
haven't got
I don't,
diabetes,
you know
but
what?
I
I
don't
don't
want.
I don't even eat all that
I
stuff.
mean,
You
basically,
know, my
what I'm
friend
saying
is
is,
trying to get me
I'm
not
not
to
gonna sell.
and I'm having a hard time.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I said, I don't need 82, I think I'll weigh it out.
Well, see, I'll eat some and then I get up off of it and I eat a little bit better, so I don't make a continuous.
Well, the Bible said, everything,
Eat it with Thanksgiving.
everything is good, there's, but it's abuse.
Uh-huh.
We can drink too much water and drown out our bodies.
Yeah.
So we have to do everything in moderation. If things start feeling bad, get off of it.
Mhm.
And if things start, I can almost tell when I need something in my body, because I get taste for some candy, some sweet. Or I might get taste for some bread, because I don't eat bread. But my body
Citizens
needs some
left
bread
it
sometimes.
to the cheers
The
out
body needs
here.
some of that.
There
You have to
was a
have
lot
it.
of cheers.
But all the
Right.
swelling,
They
they
put
left
this
my
shit
feet.
here.
Mine is
I
coming back to my shooter
I
got.
think it's the heat.
It is, it was, it was, it was.
On the citizens were old.
But you know what?
Citizens like me. So now I'm sitting.
We might have to have a process,
Well, I'm gonna tell you something.
because
I'm young.
if there's nothing on the
energy, I'm
agenda,
ready to
you know,
fight.
we don't meet
I'm
on
ready to fight the
November and
right.
December.
Well, you don't have to fight
Because
the right.
November is Thursday,
You
Thanksgiving,
ain't come in here screaming.
Of next month.
And you can't cut.
and
But
December
you
is
can
Thursday.
say anything else.
So we never have met those.
Those
months.
two, I remember.
So, but if,
But I'm gonna
if
be
there's nothing on
respectful.
the agenda,
Well,
Kill 'em with kindness.
you
then
be
we'll
that
process.
when they like that with you.
Well, one of the
Even if
things
they
I
not,
could do,
I
that,
treat them
but
how I want
I
God.
might go a month and spend with the children
in November or
I do
December.
too.
in December.
Until they act
But
like
we
they
don't
don't
need
wanna treat me
Yeah.
like that.
Because it's on
And
February.
then
Right.
they gonna say, see
Right.
how
I'm gonna
you
let
do
my
So I
God
really
go.
need to spend
Well,
just a little.
That's
Here.
good.
Yeah.
They got, they have to be
good.
exposed, so to
Hey, how you
speak.
doing?
How you doing? Nice seeing you. What
Yeah,
you
night,
did?
night.
Hiding?
Hiding. Well,
Yeah.
that's a good thing to do.
I done got married and everything.
I
since
know
the
you
last
had
time I
one to
seen
get
you.
married.
My wife outside. Her name's Cheverly.
Oh, I gotta go see
Yeah.
your wife. You so.
Mm.
Let me get out here. She in the car.
Yeah, she outside.
Well, I need a hand down. He got sick, so I need a hand down.
All right.
You start coming back to these meetings if you get a chance, when you get a chance.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna go. Well, if I could do, I can take care of it. I need to exercise.
And this is why I get the feedback I do. Because there's some things that happen in closed session that I will not be a part of. Recuse myself for conflict of interest. Yeah. And that's my right. Why am I still here? There you go.
No.
Oh, Cheryl did, we gotta adjourn, we gotta do the proposal. Oh, just first time before.
We didn't have to do it in closed session.
Well, we got to come out of recess and then somebody make a motion to accept proposal A.
I'm not saying. I'm getting ready to go home.
So we have returned from recess from our closed session. The action tonight to be taken. Is there a motion to be put on the floor?
I'll move that we, act on proposal A.
So a motion is made to accept proposal A by Commissioner Singleton and supported by Commissioner Edwards. Is there discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Sims.
Yes.
Commissioner Adams, Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting? Motion is made by Commissioner Clark Griffin and supported by Commissioner Edwards. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Adams, Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards.
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom.
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Sims. Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
I wanted to see what it's like to come outside.